Frank, put your pants on.
No, don't.
Hello and welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway? Old World Tech Friday edition. I am one of your regular co-hosts.
And I'm your other regular co-host.
And we'll let you guess which one is Trina. We will all be Trina.
Yep. Well, it's not me this week. That's somebody else's problem.
Yeah,
That's
right. Somebody else. Ron is our expert witness.
It is.
We've all got a little Trina in us.
I know, but that's only because she contaminated the potato salad at the last potluck.
I saw that episode of Futurama where they had the egg salad sandwich that was in that vending machine.
Yes,
yeah. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go there.
My parents came over on the sandwich.
That's right.
Yeah. So let's see who we have in the chat this evening. First off, Mac84. So Steve was first. Congratulations, Steve. Then we have Frank S. Someone named Sloopy Malibu. Don't know who that is. Eric's Edge is here. Then we have Garth Beagle of Garth Beagle fame.
Hey.
Eric Rango is here. Frodo Jedi is here. Imagine that. Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack. And I believe I saw Jesus Christ in here too. Where's he?
Curtis Boyle.
Yeah, he's back. He
Curtis
back.
Boyle. Yeah, there's Curtis Boyle. Will from K-Mac Vintage. There's Jesus Christ. And as well, we have Sad Mac 356 with us. So thank you for all joining us this evening. We know you have your choice in Friday evening entertainment. I remember the days of TGIF on ABC. Good times.
This is way better than that.
I don't know. Full House. I don't remember what else was on there.
Perfect Strangers.
Step by Step.
Step by Step. Was
Family Matters.
Yeah,
yep.
Family Matters was on there for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, this is better.
Was what the Tanner Family Show, was that on Fridays or was that Sundays?
Yeah.
Full House is Fridays.
It was on Friday for a while, but
yeah, I think it moved to Sunday, or it went from Sunday to Friday when it got in later.
I think that was too much Bob Saget on one day, so it's very possible.
Sunday night was also America's Funniest Home Videos, wasn't it?
Yeah, and America's Funniest People. So it seems like that would be like way too much Joey Gladstone. And
Boy Meets World.
Yep.
Family Matters.
Wait.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch was on TGIF at one point.
Yep.
Dinosaurs.
Anyway, welcome to our terrible ABC Friday night lineup podcast.
How fitting.
We don't know what we're talking about.
Back when ABC actually had shows.
It was
shows now.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I don't watch anything they have now.
They have Grey's Anatomy. I still watch that occasionally.
I got upset when they all had the plane crash. They lost too many.
I haven't watched that episode yet.
That's called Lost, Frank.
Too many people in one episode. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's that ABC show. That ABC show.
See, that one
crashed a plane.
That one actually got me because I watched it to the end and I didn't realize it until the end, and I was like, "Son of a bitch!"
What didn't you realize that it was a colossal waste of time?
Yes, until afterwards.
That's
unfortunate.
Great.
Now, if you want a new show, that's much like
Terra
Lost.
Nova.
No, it's much like that was only one season.
I know. That's why I said start that one.
Oh God, now I forgot the name of it. It's shot in Nova Scotia.
X-Files.
No,
the Titan sub.
That was crushed in Nova Scotia or Newfoundland. Oh God. Anyway, talk
From.
Thank you. Yes,
that was a good one.
From. Yes,
that's really good.
Yeah. Season 3 is currently being filmed.
Did you guys what's the prequel? The prequel show for that? 2? That needs to go in Gut Bomb's calendar.
That does.
I've got a calendar, by the way.
Oh,
okay,
Lord.
Gut Bomb. Well,
saving that for later.
We'll save that for later.
Nice.
When the viewership really goes down, we'll pull that out to keep it up.
Or when it gets too high and we need to pull some of them.
Yeah. Jeremy asks, was MacGyver part of TGIF? I don't remember it being.
No.
MacGyver's before TGIF existed.
Yeah, that's way before.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Oh, jeez.
Muppets Tonight.
Garth and I were talking about Manimal last night.
Oh yeah, Manimal. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was way before TGIF.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on NBC
NBC,
too.
yeah.
What was the one with the helicopter?
Airwolf.
Airwolf. That's it. Yeah. That was a good show.
Or that other one with the big pink bell.
The what? The what?
The big pink bell helicopter.
The big pink bell helicopter.
I don't know that one. Maybe you dreamed it.
Yep.
You're having
All right.
You're having flashbacks from that show Emergency.
You're having flashbacks from Vietnam, and none of the helicopters were pink.
Riptide.
Garth says Riptide.
Yeah,
Okay.
Riptide.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's another NBC show.
Sorry, I wasn't born until the dinosaurs started playing.
Speaking of other ABC shows.
Yes.
Dinosaurs was a TGIF, wasn't it?
It was,
yeah.
at one time.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the saddest ending of the show. It was like,
I know,
and
right?
accommodated.
Yep.
Yeah, Riptide was from 1984 to 1986.
Wow, the
A-Team
year
was
I was
good.
born, it was finished.
Love it when the plan comes together.
That's 18.
Yeah, exactly. 18. And then, of course, my favorite of all those 80
Alf
shows.
was good, yes.
Magnum PI.
Alf was really good. I loved that show.
Listen, if Tom Selleck can pull
Magnum
off Daisy
PI
Dukes and a handlebar mustache, it's Tom Selleck. It's the only
You're talking
man who can do it.
You talking about
You
Chips
know
now?
Magnum PI, but you don't know Riptide.
Correct. I know good
Magnum
things.
PI was before Riptide.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, but Magnum PI lived on in reruns, and Riptide
Yeah.
didn't.
Riptide not so much.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's like
I watched it in the afternoon after school in the 90s.
Well, what about Key West?
again.
It's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there, yeah. A lot of old
It's
people.
not underwater yet.
TV show.
The Cuban Missile Crisis didn't take it out.
I had my my second marriage honeymoon down there.
In Key West?
Yep.
Oh. Did you have some key lime pie?
Yes. And
Did
I
you
ate
know
dolphin.
key lime pie, real key lime pie is a
Dolphin?
yellow
And you-
color?
Gross.
And you ate dolphin?
Yeah, it was delicious.
Oh my god. Well,
One of the
anyway,
funniest-
now that
That
your
is
show's
different.
canceled, I
Now
just
that we're canceled,
canceled anywhere other than Japan.
Speaking of
Peter's going to
old
come in and just
shows,
start clubbing me. So, speaking of old stuff, how about we do this week in tech history? What do you think about that?
So, for those of you who've been with us since the first episode of Old World Tech Fridays, we have come full circle. So, you may have heard some of these already. May 19th, 1980, at the National Computer Conference in Anaheim, California, Apple Computer introduced the Apple III. It's the company's first attempt at a business class computer, its first departure from the Apple II architecture, and it will also become Apple's first real failure. Apple expects the Apple III to be released in July, but in one of the worst case scenario delays in tech history, the system wouldn't reach stores until January of the following year.
Wow.
Plus, it was plagued by component failures that ultimately led to large recalls of the Apple III. Let's see. May 19th, 2001, Apple Computer opens the first two locations of the new retail stores, McLean, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Let's see. In the first weekend of opening, the stores will attract 7,700 shoppers and will sell a combined $599,000 over opening weekend. May 19th, 2006, Apple Cube store opens in New York City. The second store in New York City, which is a 20,000 square foot shop at the underground concourse of the General Motors building at 767 Fifth Avenue, open 24 hours a day. The shop is visible at street level through a 32-foot glass cube at a cost of over $9 million to build. Oy, oy, oy. May 20th, 1927, aboard the Spirit of St. Louis monoplane, Charles Lindbergh takes off from Roosevelt Field, New York on a historic first solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean. He will arrive in France 33 and a half hours later. Let's see, May 20th, 1932, 5 years to the day, Amelia Earhart takes off from Newfoundland while her original destination was France. Weather and mechanical problems forced her to land in Ireland nearly 15 hours after she took off. She becomes the first woman and the second person to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean.
Which I'll point out is the fact she landed in Ireland and thought she was still in Newfoundland because
Well, she just needed fuel.
Yeah, so she thought she did like a and landed back in Newfoundland.
Yep, taking whiskey and dumping in the fuel tank.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Let's see. May 21st, 1952, the IBM 701 was the company's first commercial scientific computer. But I guess they figured out calling it a calculator would help sell it better. Perhaps they were right, because only expecting to sell 5, the company ended up selling 19 to government, large companies, and universities.
Now, Frank, when those were delivered, which company delivered them? Were they and did they arrive in one piece?
Well, I would say they were probably taken piece by piece.
Yeah, they're probably the size of a room. So
yes, many large ship. Let's see. May 21st, in 1980, the sequel to the smash success Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, is released this day, almost exactly 3 years after the release of the original film. The pioneering use of special effects technology in the Star Wars trilogy transformed the movie industry. Let's see. May 22nd, 1906, Orville and Wilbur Wright are granted the first airplane patent in the U.S. for their new and useful improvements in flying machines. Let's see. May 22nd, 1980, Namco's upcoming video game Puckman is location tested in a movie theater complex in Japan. After favorable initial testing, the game's difficulty is slightly tweaked, along with renaming the game to Pac-Man. Midway, Namco's U.S. distributor, thought that the Vandals would alter the P to an F, while the game was not officially released in Japan until July of that year. The creators of the game consider May 22nd to be Pac-Man's birthday, because it was the first time the game was shown to general public. One little known fact about Pac-Man is that it was specifically developed to be popular with women. Most video games at that time had war or sports themes to them, and women were generally not interested in those games. Pac-Man would be the first game popular with both men and women, and was the first video game to be a social phenomenon. Pac-Man generated over $2.5 billion by the 1990s, becoming one of the highest grossing video games of all time. I'm not sure how many of you remember Pac-Man Fever, but Pac-Man was the first video game to break into the mainstream, forever changing our culture and society.
I got a childhood immunization for that.
Oh,
so
good.
I didn't. I mean, I just remember like parents at my school, they were having like Pac-Man parties. Everybody kind of got it all at the same time and stuff.
Right.
That. No,
I thought they called them rainbow parties.
Now,
just took me to the doctor. It's like a series of 3 shots, and
now, were there people who thought that it was all made up by the electronics industry to sell more Pac-Man?
Well, I'm just telling you, if you've ever had electronic gonorrhea, the noisy killer, you know
yes.
that you do not want that. So
worst static ever.
Yeah.
Our last one is May 23rd, 1903. Paris, France, and Rome, Italy are connected by telephone for the first time. And that's
what
this
was said.
day.
Do we know what was said?
Nope. That's
Mamma mia.
All. Yeah.
Was it New
York? Can I get a pie? No, it was Paris,
Italy.
France, and Rome, Italy.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it was a lot of hand yelling.
It was a call to the Vatican. I'm sure
I think if it was Family Guy who was in charge, it'd be like beepity boopity boppity boopity boppity boopity.
Fair enough. Cool.
May 24th, 2024. Will from KMac Vintage fixed his first K Pro 2, and it boots from GoTech.
Congratulations, Will.
Yes,
we're living history.
Congratulations.
And
right.
Of course, we'll also say 30 years ago today, plus 1 day, the last
there
episode
you go.
of Star Trek, The Next Generation, aired.
That says Tony Soprano would like to speak with you. That's what they said on that first phone call.
And
he
really
needs a sanitation contract.
Yeah. and not really the best episode of TNG. Like kind of not a I wouldn't have made that the finale, but it's fine.
Went out with a whimper more than a bang.
You know what? I don't know. It's kind of, I think that they felt that they had to kind of tie it back to Encounter at Farpoint or something like that.
Right.
But it's to make the entire
was
ending that it was really Patrick Stewart was still starring and I Claudius. I don't know. Was that
It was
really
a
worth
better
it?
finale than the end of the last Next Generation movie.
Oh, you mean season 3 of Picard?
Oh,
Just
Copied
laying them
that
up.
Copied that right into the mountain. Too
So,
Yeah, those movies were not great.
soon. What his name was the villain in that? Wasn't it Tom?
Behringer? No.
Jones.
No,
Yeah, it was Tom
No,
Jones.
no. I'm thinking in Nemesis, the villain.
I know. You're thinking of
Tom Hardy.
you were merely born into this.
Tom
I don't
Hardy. Tom
why
Hardy.
use that voice? That voice just sounds like you're an old dude with a respirator.
Well, he is.
Batman, I don't understand.
I would have liked that, Garth.
I did too. Yeah. I like that. That'd
In
be a
a
good
warm
ending.
embrace.
Cool. So it's pretty loose night tonight. We're not doing a whole lot of structured stuff, but we invited a few people on to have a chat and talk about some things that they're doing. So why don't we go around and talk about some stuff that we're up to?
Sweet.
I don't know. Frank, if you want to talk about something, sure. But I'd like our guests to maybe talk about.
Nope. Go ahead.
All right. So Ron, you're up.
Hey, that's great. Hi everybody. You could make me big if you wanted to,
I'm
Sure.
trying.
so I could show off some things.
Nope. This is me.
No, that's
Nope,
Ryan.
hang on.
I mean, it starts with an R, but not the
Yeah.
right one.
No,
Okay.
I just
Hey
hit
everybody,
everybody.
it's Ron from Ron's Computer Videos. I wanted to tell you guys about some fun things I've been working on recently, and I'll let you guys decide whether you think that they're right for your life or not. But in any case, you know how you have that stinky modem in your 100 series PowerBook, and you're like, what am I going to do with this? I got no idea what I'm going to do with this. And so what you decide to do is you decide, hey, I'm going to put a blue SCSI in my PowerBook. And but I really want to get easy access to the SD card slot and things like that, or an SD card extender. So what I did is I actually designed a 3D printable little doodad. The check lets me know that this is the correct one. And you can just mount it in the back of your little PowerBook. You have a cute little platform by which you can mount pretty much anything you want to mount back there if you are so inclined. So that is something that I've been working on the last couple of weeks. It's out on thangs.com on the Ron's Comp Vids.
Nice.
I've also got some new shirts out in the store, but people can go and look at that. And actually, I have started designing replacement bay covers.
Oh, cool.
For old PC cases.
Nice.
That these are, if you've ever worked on a project like this and you're like, oh man, I don't have the exact right ones, and I got some in there and they're just all loose and falling out, or they're the wrong color or whatever. I now have a couple of generic PC bay covers that are also out there on my Thangs page. You can go out there, you can print these out. They're all set for remixable, so you can stretch them and make them fit like your exact thing. So if you're like, hey, I've got one, but I need like 6, you should be able to use the generic one, throw it in something like Tinkercad, and just modify the measurements on things like the thickness, the wall thickness on the kind of these sides and such, or the height of the clips, and basically print them to your heart's content. And that's all just released out there for free. Anybody who wants to play around with it, it's there for you. So that is it.
Awesome.
That's the big stuff I've been doing.
Awesome
stuff, Ron.
Thank you, Ron. It's little things like this that definitely add to the community and add to the functionality of some of these old machines. And
you got to throw stuff out there. That's the people can download and play around with. And
that's my problem. Is for years I threw everything out, and now I'm like, I don't have any bay covers.
I know, but now you can 3D print some.
Right, so it's fun. But yeah, it's with this hobby, like a lot of hobbies, I guess it's death by 1,000 cuts. Every little piece of friction or little impassable problem, it just makes it more and more draining. sometimes.
True.
So
That death by a thousand
loose-
cuts thing, that's just why you don't buy cheap cases. That sheet metal will just
gosh, yeah.
it'll
every
chew your
time.
arm up.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm sure you were, because you were, I believe you worked at a computer store
I
at
did
one point.
for many
Yeah,
years.
so
Yes.
I remember, being on an assembly line in a
Yep.
mom and pop computer store, assembling the
Mhm.
cheapest possible OEM, garbage
Yes.
that was possible.
The,
And
the cases arrive and they already have rust on them.
yeah,
That happened. That happened to us one time. And so the boss was like, "What are we gonna do?" And I was like,
Buff it out.
We're gonna sand these. Is what we're gonna do." And so sanded them down. And then I was like, "You can get this sealant. It's a spray can, and we're gonna spray the cases down. We'll leave them outside for a couple of days, let them like thoroughly dry. And guess what?
They're fine.
They were
Good
just
to go.
fine. Yeah.
I
It's,
remember we
modern
used to
problems demand modern solutions.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And
We used to order. Oh, go ahead, Sylvia. Sorry.
You know what the final boss for the vicious cases is?
Mm-mm.
The Quadra 800.
And, well, for shattering, exploding plastic, yeah.
Yeah.
For
Taking your
shrapnel,
hand.
yes. it brings the pain to you.
It's its own claymore.
For cutting you back in the day,
Mhm.
getting the lid on without getting cut was
Yeah.
a
Skill.
Yeah.
high.
Well, it's got like that big
complication.
round or kind of thing, and it's all like the EM shielding. Yeah.
I remember we used to order refurbished machines from a place in Montreal by the pallet, and they would just ship the pallet wrapped in just cellophane. Right? It was literally just cellophane wrapped around a pallet. And
Mhm.
so the funny part about that is the bottom computers, the top computers, and the side computers were all buffers.
Mhm.
So when we take the pallet apart, the only real computers that survived shipping were the ones that were in the center of the pallet.
Yep.
And now then we obviously had to piece together other whole machines from the broken ones. But I remember our big not scam, but thing we would do to make plastic nice. You spray it with WD-40 and give it a wipe down, and it looks pretty nice. But have you ever tried to pick up a Dell Optiplex that's greased up like a pig? So many of them got dropped. But I remember it was good times, and you look back at it. Always look back things with rose-colored glasses sometimes. But it was 35 plus degrees up in the loft. We were banging out machines, listening to Iron Maiden. It was those were some of the fun times. Even though that was terrible and it was a terrible work environment, and you had to deal with clients and customers and stuff. The guys that I worked with, it was good. It was good times. You'll have those memories forever.
That's like playing video games when you used to take your entire not video games but computer games like LAN party, and you take your entire computer with you.
Mhm. I can play video games on a computer.
Well, sure, but I meant back then,
LAN
LAN
gaming,
parties.
LAN
Yeah,
gaming.
LAN
yeah,
gaming,
you-
yeah.
You'd all go to a buddy's house and take your actual whole computer in your car with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, do you remember the book bag they sold for a while that had the straps to go around
Yep.
the case, and you could put
Yep.
it on your back like a
Mhm.
book bag?
Yep.
Yeah.
Had a spot for your keyboard to slide in.
I had one that was like a strap that would go over your shoulder and such. But
Mhm.
Okay.
I actually, because I do leatherworking and things like that, I actually just made some straps that went around that
Oh,
just
that's
had a
awesome.
big PVC handle.
Okay.
It wasn't super great, but there
pretty
was
cool, though.
as people got smarter, it was like, oh yeah, I don't need a full tower case to go to
Yeah.
this LAN party. I can just get one of those aluminum Chief Tech kind of cases, and it made it a lot easier to haul that stuff around. And I think people eventually started getting those shuttle,
Yeah, with the
Like
handles.
those-
Yes, the
yeah,
shuttle
those
cases.
little
Lunchbox.
tiny
Yeah.
shuttle cube machines. Yeah.
Well, that's like before flat panels and stuff were really a thing. Taking your CRT with you. Holy shit.
Oh,
That-
man.
That was the worst part.
Yeah, and I
Especially
had
if your buddy lived in an apartment, like if they were up a flight of stairs carrying all that shit. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I had a 22-inch, I think it was, or it might have been a
Mhm.
20-inch NEC panel. Man, it weighed
Oh, yeah,
probably
they weighed a
65,
lot.
70 pounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
So
bring this guy to every LAN party.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah,
So
there
that's
you go.
where I really messed up.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Instead of getting one of those straps to hold it, I just had kids and just would have them carry it for me.
See,
There
smart.
you go. I actually had a my primary monitor. I had a 21-inch Sony CRT,
Mhm.
And then I just bought like a 15-inch Sony CRT that I would take to LAN parties because I figure it's like it's still really nice. You
Yep.
could always use it as a second display on your primary machine, but I don't know. I just built like a machine that I just took to LAN parties.
Yeah.
Didn't have a huge hard drive. Didn't have like it wasn't like my daily driver, but it was just like if because it seemed like once or twice a month there would always be some kind of event like that getting together to play.
Yep.
Counter-Strike or something like that back in the
Well,
day.
our biggest thing was we played multiplayer StarCraft. Was one of the biggest ones at the time, and it was nice when BattleNet became a thing to where you can play from your own house and log into the same session and play each other. Like
But,
that
you know,
was so much nicer.
As much as we love multiplayer, like there was something about the camaraderie of being, a bunch of, geeky teens all crammed in a basement somewhere. It's way too warm down there.
The heat, the smell.
There's heat, the heat, the smell. There's just enough of a layer of grease from Pizza Hut on everything. Mountain Dew bottles everywhere. Like
Mountain Dew was a huge thing. But
right?
It's funny you say Pizza Hut because on Papa John's app, I still have, if you go to favorites, StarCraft Munchies, where I ordered food,
Hilarious.
To be delivered when we played StarCraft. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's still it's the same thing.
Y'all are making me feel old.
Why did you have to make your own pizza?
No, the last LAN party that I had that wasn't PlayStation based, but actually computer based, was Bolo.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And most of us had most of us
IPX.
Had like Mac SEs. A couple had like PowerBook 100 series. I had an SE30 with a radius pivot, so I was the only one with a color display.
See, like ours were all Windows machines. Like we had Windows 2000, and maybe some people had XP.
Yeah,
at the time.
I remember we started out with Windows 98 SE, and that was rock solid. And then I remember, one of the guys in our group got a copy of ME with a key. So we're all like, "Oh my god, we're all upgrading to ME." Because at the time, you read a few things on the internet, but it wasn't really, it wasn't super knowledge that it was hot garbage.
Yes.
And we all went back to 98 SE pretty quick. But then somebody got a copy from their parents' work of 2000. Like,
2000 was stable, man.
And we ran that. And as soon as XP came out, we all jumped ship to XP and never looked back.
Yep.
But those were the days. I remember we used to have a wake-a-thon at our school when I was in high school. So you had to stay up all night, and they always had different games and stuff. And
we always had like a new corpse. They bring in a new corpse every hour.
Yeah, it was just the wake-a-thon.
It's like, oh man,
the night that
everybody
died.
We're sitting Shiva. Come on now.
The night that Patty Murphy died is a night I'll never forget. Some of the boys got loaded drunk, and they ain't got sober yet. Sorry, but yeah, we'd have a LAN party at those wake-a-thons, and it would be in the gym, and it was only probably 10 or 15 of us because the rest of the people in our class were girls, and they were like, we don't like LAN parties, we want to go laser tag or something, whatever else was going on. But yeah, it was good times. I remember we used to play a lot of Delta Strike or Delta Force 2. Sorry, it was like pretty fun. And I went back and played
Chuck Norris movie.
What's your favorite Chuck Norris movie?
Yeah, Delta Force 2.
Let's see, best LAN party game.
Did you hear about Death, Ron?
Did he take a holiday finally?
No, he had a near Chuck Norris experience.
That's funny. Yeah, I like that. I think that like the LAN party stuff, like the big thing, nobody's brought it up yet. Worms World Party, which was a lot of fun.
I never played that.
It's sort of like VGA Tanks, or maybe it's called VGA Tanks, but Guerrilla Basic for sure.
Yeah,
where you're just like you're like the little worms. It's the worms. It's Team 17. It's like the people that made like a ton of fun stuff. Yep. And that was like a great game.
It's like combative lemmings.
Garth brings up a good point here. When I got one of the first cable modems, it was sure fun hosting Quake games with like zero ping, destroying all of those on modems. Yeah. That was a pivotal moment when people started getting DSL at the time instead of dial-up. And yes, it was a huge edge.
Was Garth one of those LPBs back in the day?
He might have been.
Me too.
Low ping B words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we had
remember.
I lived in the middle of nowhere, so we had like the dial-up was the best you got. For
We
a
had
long
we
time.
got cable internet, and I think I've told this story before, and I'm sure some of you. We had cable internet, came in at about 1997, 96,
Mhm.
97, and we were one of the first families to get it. And I was like night and day. I was so excited when we got high speed internet. But the DOCSIS, whatever DOCSIS format it was,
Yeah.
I think it was probably DOCSIS 1 or maybe even like half, because I don't even know if 1 was the standard at that point. Nothing was secured. So I could see all my neighbors' like
Yep.
printers and shit.
Yep.
So you'd be like, well, we're sending some stuff to the neighbors to print.
We didn't. So where we live here now, we did not get cable internet available in this area till June of 2019. Yes. Yes. We actually, my brother-in-law and I, we actually went to every neighbor's house in the area and signed a petition that they would all sign up for service if they would do the build out to come this way, because it was at the bottom of the hill here.
Was
And it was
DSL the
just
only
down
thing
the road.
available?
No, you could not get DSL either.
It was just dial up or Starlink or satellite.
It was just dial up. Yeah, satellite sucked because you'd watch one YouTube video and then they'd throttle your bandwidth. So like satellite didn't even work very well. You just kind of hotspot. If you put your phone in the window just right, you can hotspot and play some games. Crap ton of lag, but at least you could do some things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Here
yeah,
where I
oh
live-
my gosh, horrible.
Here where I live here,
Mhm.
fiber is 3 to 6 months away. And
Nice.
that has been for the last 10 years.
I was going to say, is that what they've been telling you?
Yeah.
For 10
Before
years.
before the
You're
town I used to live
getting the
in-
Google Fi, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
No.
That's what's coming.
The
Sorry,
town
go
I
ahead.
used, no, I was just gonna say the town I used to live in did not have broadband.
Yeah.
The town I live in right now did not have broadband for a very long time, and then we just had DSL and only serviced like a very small area of town. And then the cable company came in and spread things out. But for many years, I was a subscriber to something which I cannot remember. I think it is now called Direct Way, but it used to be called something different many years ago. And it was basically that you had a modem that you still had to have an ISP, you still had to have regular internet service, but basically all that would happen is it would send the request out through the modem, and then you would receive the information back via the satellite.
Yeah.
Usenet.
HughesNet,
No.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you had to subscribe, and there were like, so you had your regular ISP bill, and then you had two different things, and basically you could set up your internet access for certain times of the day. Like you could say it was one price if it was 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it was another price if it was 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yes.
And you could either have it where it would be on 24 hours a day, or it'd only be on very near like that 12-hour window, and you could pick which one. And I just remember at first I had it all set up at home to where it was like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yep.
I'd go home and I'd play around with it, and then I very quickly realized that I wasn't home enough to take advantage of it, but I was at work all day. So I moved the satellite and everything, moved the dish, moved everything to work, and then set it up there, and then just I set up a proxy.
Nice.
And just left a machine on all the time, and people in the office could get out and do it because there was no bandwidth cap.
No,
at least at first, and it was really neat. It was a lot of fun. It was, I mean, you could not really game or anything on it, but if you were like, oh my gosh, you got to download this 3 meg thing,
Yeah.
you could certainly do that.
That's
Well,
awesome.
What was awesome about DSL when it first came out was not a lot of people got it at once. So like the speeds were pretty decent at first, but once more people got on, they oversold. So like as soon as people got home from work or school or whatever, you would notice the lag. Like it was instant.
The backhaul was oversaturated. Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So I have vivid memories of the first computer lab that I remember that we went into when I was in public school. They had just like set up the lab. And I think I've told this story before, but we had a token ring network in the actual lab. And we would, just so we wouldn't have to do any work, we'd go and like loosen up one of the terminators so that it would take down the whole network. And then Mr. Dodd, God love him, I don't know if he's still alive, he would he ended up leaving on stress leave because he was completely
Stressed.
stressed over us being little terrors.
Mhm.
He would spend the whole class trying to figure out why the network wasn't working. But in the corner, in the rack, they had a wall of dial-up modems, and it was exactly for that. It was a Hughes network, but all the machines could dial out, I guess, on one of the modems, and they would receive information back from the satellite. So we had, technically, they could say we had high speed at the school, even though at the time there was no.
Well, it just wasn't symmetrical.
Yeah. Which, I mean, most high speed isn't. So technically, that's
but
okay.
I mean,
Well,
way worse.
Way under
Way
over.
worse.
Yeah.
We didn't really have networked computers until middle school, because in elementary school we had the Apple IIs, and then they got some LCs and Performas at one point in time, like up to 6th grade. And finally, latter part of 6th, 7th grade, they got an actual computer lab, like what you would think now of a computer lab. They were Dells. Like, they just started switching to Dells at that point in time.
And you're like, hey, what type of equipment are we getting in there?
Yeah,
We're getting a Dell.
get a Dell, dude. But yeah, they it was all Apple stuff up until about middle school, and then they started switching things slowly. And what's funny is like things started shifting. So like the Apples and Macs they had at the high school and middle school, they all started showing up in the elementary school classrooms. And
Right.
they had all Apple Mac stuff, even as I was in high school at the elementary school.
Right.
But everybody else had PCs.
Well, I mean, when did they stop selling the 2GS? 93,
Oh,
94?
95.
Yeah, so
it was a long time.
Yeah.
like I would have been in grade 4 or 5 when they stopped selling that.
See,
so,
we didn't have
Wow.
2GSs. I think the best ones we had, really, I mean, of the Apple computers, was the 2Cs or the 2C pluses.
Yeah.
Like our library had decent machines, like the 2C
right.
pluses.
You had to have like a special reason to have that 2GS.
Yep.
Like I think my high school had one or two, and they were both in the sciences classrooms, just
Yep.
because of the better color and
Yep.
all that type of stuff.
My elementary school had 2GSs in every classroom, and usually a Mac Plus next to them.
Yeah.
See,
My,
like
my son's
ours
grade
didn't.
school had a 2GS in the library,
Huh.
and I was like, okay, and I was like, does anybody?
What
use
year
this?
is this?
Yeah, I was like, does anybody use this? And the lady that was the librarian was like, no, nobody uses it because nobody knows how to set it up. Well, part of the problem was they actually had a Macintosh monitor sitting back there on it and stuff. And they had keyboard, they had mouse, they had everything that they needed. And I was like, here's what you really need. And so what I did is I set them up with a, whatever it is, the, come on, brain. But it's basically like the micro drive, whatever. It's the IDE card, because they were
Yep.
cheap. So I put one of those in, and it had like, it would just boot up 604, and then there was like Total Replay on it, and like that MECC archive and some other things. So it was just like, basically it was like, there's everything. I said, if I would not let people use this unattended because they will just break it.
Yeah.
And she used it for years and then finally retired. And then I'm sure that they just like mothballed it after that.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, all right, here's a copy of, basically I just went through and copied all those MECC titles, because that's what the MECC did anyway.
Yeah.
So it was like, Oregon Trail and whatever it's called, the Lemonade Stand, and all those games and edutainment kind of titles, and
Cross Country Canada.
I guess. I suppose.
But here where I am, it was up to the schools to decide what they wanted, I guess, and they would fundraise, or they would be allocated certain amounts of money, and then they go. So like some schools had, like when I was in kindergarten, we had IBM machines. They were clones. That's it.
Yep.
So we never had Apple anywhere. But a couple of schools over, they had all Apple Macintosh set up. And going back into the 80s, a lot of our high schools had Commodore 64s, which apparently is not very common for schools to have Commodore 64s.
Yeah. I mean, outside of
Not
Europe.
here that I've seen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
it's interesting. Down your way, though, the Apple really pushed the Apple in the classroom.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
their
they-
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They priced it pretty well.
Yes.
Mhm.
But once once they started getting the Dells, that's whenever Novell NetWare started to pop up.
Yeah.
And everybody jumped on board and started putting Novell NetWare.
Well, then you also have stuff like
The business classes,
yeah.
Chris had set up at VCF last year. The
OS2.
No, it was the Classroom. It was like a IBM Classroom. Is it OS2? Okay.
No,
but it was
its own thing. It's Kevin. It's the same guy that really enjoys OS2 stuff. So
right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So there was bespoke. I guess IBM was trying to cleave off some school stuff for themselves there by making that.
A lot of it had to do, and you'd probably have a NetWare 312 or even older than that back frame for that, for file sharing and things. But basically it was just a way for you to have your machines in NetBoot into a controlled environment. And not just that, but it all had TSRs and stuff. So that way a teacher could control the classroom. Basically, like it's not LAN school, but it's named kind of like that.
Nears makes no difference.
Yeah, but it just basically you could just share your screen to the students or look at a student screen while they work. And I mean, that was pretty novel, at the time to be able to do all that.
Yep. Yeah, I did Novell CNA.
How's that working out for you?
Oh, yeah. we used it in all the districts. So like at the Votech, we had the actual main servers and everything at the Votech, and all of the actual schools, participant schools, districts connected back to the Votech. And that's where we hosted everything. So we ran Novell Border Manager, all kinds of different shit.
Yeah.
For them, the group wise, we did group wise for the email. So we did Novell everything. It was just cheaper. When you're looking at Microsoft licensing costs, like schools, just a lot of them couldn't afford that.
Yeah,
but I think Microsoft stepped up then, and towards the end of the 90s, they were offering basically free, if not Nears makes no difference, free licensing.
Well, I don't know, because we still put in new Novell servers in 2002, 2003. Because I didn't graduate till 04.
Probably more of a devil you know than a devil you don't kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Because I know that
they just weren't ready to go Lantastic yet.
Right.
That's right.
We used to use a piece of software too when I worked at the community center to lock down the machines. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was like
used
Polar Bear, Deep
Freeze.
Deep Freeze. That's it. Yeah,
yes.
that's it. Yeah.
Because when you reboot the machine, it puts it back. Yeah. So no matter what they save or download or history, we use that too.
Yep. There's some good products like that. Like Centurion Guard.
God, I used Norton Ghost back then. We used to image computers, with Norton Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
So
you still can.
Easier.
When you can. When we first started my company in around 2009, I was still teaching at the university, and the university uses their own bespoke software called LabNet, which they use to boot all their machines. But LabNet had to require a hard drive to be in the machine to boot Windows, because it would pull some files from the server to boot Windows, but it had to have a certain amount of actual local Windows storage for the boot. So we actually we piloted a project. My business partner at the time, John, designed an iSCSI boot system for them with Windows, and it was pretty cool. And it all got mothballed when my department was closed in 2012 or 2013. But it was pretty cool. We had basically all the machines in the lab were hard driveless. They all booted from a burnt ROM on a network card. Like they all had their a net boot, and booted in, and they by their MAC address they knew what machine they were and what software they needed. It would pull down an image, and when it was booting, you got a menu to say like, are you teaching a Photoshop class? Are you teaching a simply accounting class? Are you teaching whatever? And they could select it, and that would bring the image down that the teacher needed or the tech needed for that actual class.
Talk about dinosaur software. In 2014, 2015, I worked for a large pharmaceutical company, and we used Lotus Notes still. We had Domino servers for email, and we still used all that because it was secure.
My mother-in-law still swears that Lotus 123 is the best spreadsheet program ever.
He's right.
She's right.
Yeah,
I will never tell her that, so she's not watching. But
well, it's tough because you just got to get enough limb memory configured on boot to make sure that you don't crash right in the middle of working on your spreadsheet. So
yeah. And then I had an old one of my old teachers that I used to work with. He's a Jesuit priest, but he's a physics teacher. He loved Quattro. Like, he loved
Oh
Word
my
Perfect,
gosh.
but Quattro was his favorite tool, and he used to do all his grading. And so sometimes he'd send me these files, and I'd be like, "What am I supposed to do with this?"
Mhm.
It's a Quattro file.
We used something called at the school district called, I think it was called MMS, is what the grading software was
Oh yeah, there's
Um,
dozens of grading
that they used,
platforms
and
out
it,
there,
it
yeah.
was archaic. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't believe they still used it. This thing
Yeah,
was
we
so
used-
rudimentary.
We use Power School, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Which actually, funnily enough, what used to be owned by Apple. Power School was owned
Huh.
by Apple for like 2 years.
I didn't
in
know that.
the early 2000s. Yeah,
That's
they
pretty
bought
neat.
it in like 2000. I think sold it in 2002 to Blackbaud. Was it Blackbaud
Blackboard.
or Blackboard? Yeah. Anyway, Pearson owns it now. The book people.
Yep.
Yeah, Pearson.
Yeah.
What don't they own? We
I
own
know, right?
everything, so you don't have to. Thanks, Pearson.
So you can't.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
you got to pay. We want a subscription fee.
Right, yeah.
Garth wrote a test grading app called Test Scores in the early 2000s.
Oh, did it take the test for you, or were you selling this to the students?
Actually, what it did is it just took your street drugs and it told you the purity. So it was testing every score you made
Ah,
to find out, like,
see if
you
it
know,
really
how
was.
good it was. Mhm.
good blue meth.
Yeah. It was like, wait a minute, there's no way that every one of these can be baby laxative. Come on. I'm friends with my dealer. Come on.
Good times. So yeah, what else is going on in people's world? I guess we'll move. We've got
That's
Ron.
right.
Sloopy, what are you working on these days?
I got a box.
Well, I'm
Rose
happy
in
for
the
you.
How delightful a pox.
Oh,
Mhm.
caution, live bees.
Mhm.
Are
Yep.
there actual live bees in there?
Actual live bees.
Yes.
If you really want bees, I can box some up for you and send them to you.
No,
No,
I
thank
got
you.
all the things I want.
I've dealt with bees like every day for like the last 2 or 3 weeks, it seems.
No, I'm good. But yeah, I got a box of live bees. I did
Boobies?
get. I wish. I did get a Mac Mini G4 and a Mac Mini Intel. I think it's like a 2005.
Nice.
So you got 1.25.
And
right?
I also got an iMac, 1.83 gigahertz Core 2 Duo.
Nice.
I got two floppies and
They have pills
three-
for that now.
Yeah, I got 3 floppies
They got
and
pills for
another
that.
floppy and ADB keyboard and mouse.
Nice.
All delivered to my house.
Nice. And
Nice.
where did they originate from? I'm assuming Live Bees was maybe Garth.
No.
No?
Different box, 2 different places. The live
Ah.
bees were from an anonymous donor. who
Okay,
wishes to
cool.
remain anonymous, and I want to thank him profusely because he's a great person and an awesome gentleman.
Ah, lovely.
And the
So
other
clearly
stuff
it's
came-
Kate, the Macintosh librarian. It's,
Yes.
I mean, you're terrible at guess who. It's like,
Yeah.
is your person a man? That's half of them.
Who
Does-
actually just on a side note, we
Does
need
your
to thank
person
Kate.
look like somebody that would sell me cryptocurrency? No.
There goes
Cash for gold. Cash for gold.
the Mac Mini and the iMac and the floppies came from another person who wishes to remain anonymous.
It's amazing how you're able to get a hacking group to send you so much stuff.
Yeah,
Very impressive.
They just need you to hold it until the FBI comes.
Yeah, don't actually look at what's on those discs. But going back just a couple steps, Kate, Macintosh librarian, we need to thank her for the poking of Polymaker to continue to make that filament that they
Muted
had stopped
white.
making. Muted white, yes.
yes.
So be sure if you have a 3D printer and you want to print stuff for your Macintosh that you pick up a spool of muted white from Polymaker when it becomes available on June 21st.
Well,
Yes.
they are going to have it available. Hopefully it is available on Amazon, because they made it for a while and it wasn't available on Amazon.
So,
Mhm.
So
I
hopefully
bought
it makes
You,
its
you
way
gotta
to
you gotta
Amazon
blame
again.
Frank for that.
Well, I was gonna say I bought 4 or 6 rolls a couple weeks ago on Amazon of Muted White Polymaker, because I was printing the cases for Javier's joysticks that he was selling.
Mhm.
So I
So,
probably
it's Frank's
bought
fault.
all of the remaining stock that Amazon had.
Also, I haven't
okay.
said it yet, but I really enjoy your chicken lips shirt.
Yes, it is a nice shirt. Did
That
you
is
make
nice.
that?
No, I got it on AliExpress for
Express.
$4.
Oh,
Yeah.
no kidding. That's a good
He
deal.
knit it himself.
See, when I go to
Well-
order stuff on AliExpress, it always shows up. It's like, oh, it might as well be doll clothes because Ryan's certainly not fitting in that. I guess
did
get one
super extra large in Japan or China, is
Yeah.
not the same as North America.
I'm a medium. It all fits for me.
Okay.
So what do you got going on, Gut Bomb?
Hmm.
Anything new,
Well-
exciting? Otherwise,
Yeah, some guy that I know that you guys might know sent me some British computers to refurbish.
Oh
a
my
couple
God, I didn't
of
know you knew
Acorn
Bill
machines. So I recapped them and redid the power supplies so they'll work in America. And
Technically,
you-
they would work in America
If they had
as
visas.
fire starters.
right,
Yeah, that's
they'll
No,
actually
actually,
power the computers
you
properly.
power them
now.
on, and they just make like really interesting sounds.
yeah, that's Tom.
It's at
The
50, 60 hertz.
person, the person moved. Let me give you their new address.
yeah.
Those are finished and ready to go back. And I've got an Amiga incoming, which is really
That's right.
cool, but I don't have it yet. And
You know what you need
so
for that
I've been-
Amiga?
I've
My
been
home
preparing
address.
for it.
Yes, you do.
It's an Amiga 500. I've started making a video cable for it, and the video cable for those is a DB23, and those are hard to get. So I took a DB25 and a Dremel and made a DB23.
There you go. That's all the Retro Kits UK does. They did the same thing.
Yeah.
Drum it
If
off
you go
the
into
edge.
that, if you go into that box over there, there's 2 or 3 of those of the Amiga video cables.
There you go, Gut Bomb. You need that mouse right there.
That mouse is destined for me, I think.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, not
Thank
this
you,
exact
Ryan.
one because this is the Commodore, the very rare Commodore
Oh.
one.
I was going to
Yeah,
say
just
that's,
an
One
Amiga
just like
mouse.
this.
that's a Commodore mouse, not an Amiga mouse.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
got
they're
you,
all
I got you
Commodore.
covered. I'll get Commodore on the phone here.
Yeah.
So I got I want to set up the GoTech OSD, so I got a
Yep.
pack of blue pills. So hopefully one of the fake blue pills in the pack actually works. And what else did I get for it?
If it doesn't, let me
power
know. I have
supply
a
stuff,
bunch of blue
because
pills
it's
here.
it's a UK model, so
Yep.
or PAL machine. So I need a make
But
my own
your-
power supply for that.
Your
too.
what's it called? We'll do PAL, right? Your PVM.
Yeah, the
Yep.
PVM is fine with PAL.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So that's what I'm excited about.
Awesome.
Exciting. Very exciting.
Very
And
cool.
so, are you putting a GoTech in it? Or are you going to just leave the regular floppy in it? No. Okay.
Definitely GoTech.
GoTech. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Very
Very
exciting.
much GoTech.
yeah, TJ.
Say that again, Sloopy.
Not only will it do PAL, but it also does NTSC-CJ and CCAM.
We have
I
a
do
question
not
from Frank
believe the
S.
GoTech does work on the 2C. They don't have firmware for Apple, I don't think.
No, it does.
There
There's,
is
there
now,
is.
and
There's
it's kind
a
of
jank.
Okay.
It's turbo jank.
So
but-
it's
and you have to have your disc
reliable as a
images and
troubled child on crack.
No, I'm sure it works rather well. The problem is that it's going to require a lot of work to convert, unless somebody goes through all the trouble of taking all their disk images and moving them to the special format that's needed for
boy.
these GoTech things. Then I'm not sure
So someone needs to
what
make a
that's gonna
tool.
do. Yeah, or mass convert a bunch
Or-
of stuff.
yeah.
But there's
or just
4
steer people towards the floppy MU or one of the
Yes.
other floppy emulation
100%.
options.
Then
Yes.
what
Floppy
you do-
Emu is really good. Javier's got a new thing that he's doing that's basically
Yep.
a new thing that kind of makes it all look very neat.
Yes, I
Um,
was gonna say go on 8-bit tees, buy yourself the kit
Mhm.
to put together the floppy emu with the screen.
You still
and
have
the
to have a
SD
floppy
slot.
emu, though.
Yes,
right?
you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Or you
Or
could
you
pay
buy-
extra, and he'll source that for you and pre-build.
Or just buy a floppy emu and print the case on your
That's
bamboo
true,
printer.
too.
yeah. Don't forget, there's lots of other options out there. There's like that
The W drive.
You
I can't get
them.
one.
Well,
Yeah,
nobody
I
can
can't
get
get
them
one.
right now.
Okay.
But there's also whatever you call it, the CFFA 3000 or something like that.
Yes.
You can occasionally
Dan
get
2
those.
is
Yep,
good.
Yeah,
Dan
Dan
2.
2.
Yeah, Will has those. The Dan 2 cards. Yeah.
What is that? Oh, yeah, the Fujinet project.
Yes.
The Fujinet. So it's like modem and floppy emulator and
Yep.
a ton of other things. I keep seeing people online that are basically like, I don't understand. Like, why is the Fujinet? It's just another floppy emulator. No, not really. It does like a lot
It
more.
does a lot of different
Yeah.
stuff.
It does a lot more things. It juliens, it slices, it dices.
Well, and it's especially you also get all that smart port, drive image support and things like that. And like as more and more people develop things, there'll be like tons of fun things in the future too. So
Yeah, there's a reactive microdrive turbo that you can get now, or clones of it now from Reactive Micro.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
It's Friday.
Hi, Joe.
Frank asks, send me a message and I'll send you some 5 1/4 discs.
Awesome.
I have a plethora of them.
Frank, do you have any new acquisitions you want to show in multiple parts, maybe, or pieces, or what you got in the mail today?
Well, it wasn't today.
Oh,
This poor monitor. We're gonna have a moment of silence.
pour one out for the monitor, everyone.
Yep. It did not. It did not survive.
Darn.
It has that old electronic smell that would have been nice to savor the flavor.
Yeah.
But yeah, sadly it did not.
Actually, sorry. What you don't realize, Frank, that's actually it's an IBM monitor made by IKEA.
Some
Yeah,
assembly
you just
required.
have to put them all together. There's an Allen key in the bottom of the box.
And in the box, it shows a picture of it destroyed and a picture of it together.
Well,
and that's
unless-
the only instructions.
Unless there's a man in there named Allen Key that's gonna put this damn thing together. It ain't happening.
Alan.
You know what? I'll send it to Sloopy. He will put it all back together, and it'll be totally fine.
Glue it all back.
That's a good project. That's a good project. For Sloopy.
Re-vacuum the CRT.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, put a vacuum back in the CRT.
Do you know how to blow glass? We might need a patch on this.
So you give Gut Bomb the easy stuff to fix, and you send me the hard stuff.
Well, yeah. There's different tiers to troubleshooting here.
Yeah.
And tech support.
Dante tells us there are many layers to hell, levels to hell. So
yeah, CRT repair is one of those.
How surprised would you be if I brought it back complete and working?
Well, I wouldn't be that surprised because you probably have one there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would make sure it's not the same. It's the same one.
I mean, if I went on internet radio now and tuned this thing into Oral Roberts and let it sit here for a year, it's still not gonna fix this guy.
True story.
You're gonna need a big miracle.
Oh yes. Speaking of miracles, I did see JC was in the chat, so feel free to lend a hand at any time here now.
Now, I do have a one of those IBM monitors, but I don't remember which model it is.
Well, I don't know what model this one is either because I didn't want to flip it.
5151.
Okay, 5151. That's what Ryan and I were talking about before the stream, and I couldn't remember.
Is that mono or color?
Mono.
It's got mononucleosis.
It's got a lot worse than mono now.
It does. This has a severe case of mono. This is the worst case scenario possible.
Yeah,
whoever the shipper was didn't prevent fall apart.
Yeah. I don't remember
man.
Color or mono.
Monitors in general are not the best to ship. So it's always a toss up.
Yeah, next time I got a fancy monitor for you, I'm gonna drive it over to your house.
Yeah, I mean you're really not that far. I mean, if UPS will deliver it next day, then yeah, it's not.
Well, I mean, if they deliver it next day in not a million pieces,
yeah, exactly.
That would be,
everything else survived fine. Would you be surprised to know this Model F is perfect condition?
We talked about this already. At the end of the world, there will be cockroaches, Keith Richards, and Model F keyboards. That's it.
This thing is
No, there will also be Atari 800s.
Sure.
The,
Yeah.
Yes.
the Model F weighs almost the same as what that monitor weighed.
Oh, I
'cause the
believe
monitor
it.
was actually really light for what it is
Yeah.
because the whole shell is plastic.
Honestly, if I had to guess, just picking up the boxes because they weren't labeled which one was which on the outside, I would have guessed that the monitor was the heavier one, but it really isn't. It was the keyboard.
Yep.
Well, the
At
monitor's
least the
mostly
computer
air.
survived.
Yes. Well, the monitor's definitely let out its last gasp. So
Yeah.
air's
So again,
out of this baby.
Pour one out for the monitor, people.
That's right.
Pour one out for
Is
the
the
monitor.
CRT broke?
Yes.
Yes, it necked the tube. Yeah, it shattered the board on the back, the analog board, like everything's shattered pieces.
Full on 8-bit guy.
This has more
Cool.
pieces than that puzzle that Willie gave Alf to put together.
Extra puzzles.
That's right.
Extra pieces. Yeah. So the only other thing I got this week, it was in the mail, came today, and it came in a very little box. There it is. You all see it.
Oh,
It's a bar of soap.
Yeah, I know.
It's a
my
pack
favorite
of smokes.
My favorite thing is that warning: this cancer and reproductive harm.
From
Oh, it's a
Canada,
pack of smokes.
or I mean California.
Only in California though, so
Yep.
I'm safe because I don't live in California.
Yeah.
But what this is I did order them from the States. I ordered them from Amazon.com. It costs a total of $10.
They don't need you to plug them. They've got
Listen, their margins are so
nation, they've got
thin.
micronation to fit inside their nation money. Okay.
Right?
Yes. Have you ever seen Futurama Mom Corp? You know that
Yeah.
does the robots. That's Amazon at this point.
So what actually arrived were a set of 10. You can kind of see them there. I'll get my face out of the way there.
Sea monkeys.
Rings.
You
Yeah,
should just put your
springs.
hand-
They're Commodore springs.
Sea monkeys.
Okay.
So I couldn't find the springs. So I couldn't find any springs locally that work. But now my keyboard that I made has a functioning 9 key or 0 key again.
It's got some spring in its step.
But
Yeah,
can you-
I heard that you 3D printed a key on that keyboard, but I
Yep.
can't really tell which one it is.
can't tell which one
it is,
Just, yeah, they all look exactly
It's the
perfect.
space bar. It's the space
it's a
I knew
function key. See how they're a different color? It's definitely the function keys.
It's the function
Yep.
keys, yeah, over here, yeah. Anyway, I also ordered the rest of the materials to actually turn this into a proper keyboard for a SX64.
Awesome.
And
You 3D printed the shell and mounting plates and stuff for that already,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And my hope
Pretty
is I'm
cool.
going to actually modify that 3D print file so that everything I use can be mounted inside, and that way anybody else who wants to replicate my process can go ahead and do that. The other thing I bought is a big spool of rainbow, this kind of ribbon wire.
Magazine? I love that.
No, the ribbon wire. I ordered a big roll of that and a bunch of press-in DB25s. So I'm going to fabricate a bunch of SX64 cables. So I'll have them if anybody needs an SX64 cable. I'll probably just
Keyboard cable?
Yeah, the keyboard cable.
Yeah.
I'll just send them to Joe and he can sell them on his website. I don't particularly need 10 of them. So if he wants, if not, I have extra. I'll bring them with me to Midwest. I'm sure there are 10 other SX64 owners who need a cable.
Sure.
Sloopy being one of them.
Actually, I'll take one cable and one pigtail.
Joe sells
One cable and
things.
one big table. Sure.
Yeah.
Joe sells things. Yes. And don't forget
Sell, Joe, sell.
if you need stuff for your retro computers,
That's right.
be for sure to check out jcm-1.com. Now, I wasn't going to actually plug jcm-1.com because I know Amazon is really suffering right now. They needed the plug more than
That's right.
Joe did.
Yes.
But I'll plug both of them. So there you go. Cool. So I'm excited to get that finished and get that project done and actually be able to use my SX64 for that one time that'll turn it on now that it has a keyboard, use it once and then put it back in storage.
Yeah. It's the chase. It's the
Yep.
chase.
It's 100% the
Exactly.
chase. 100%. So yeah. So other than that, I don't think I got anything else. I did actually. I was one of the lucky people, and Ron was as well. If anybody needs, and I will see if he's still in the chat. If anybody needs what was it, a $200 Ron?
Yeah, Sony FD200. That's the top end for the Mavica cameras that will take the floppy disk. So the floppy disk digital camera, it's the top end. It's the 2 GB or the 2 megapixel model, rather.
It seems as though our friend Eric of Eric's Edge has stumbled upon a pile of them in box and in good shape.
New old stock.
So he'll be selling them.
Oh, awesome.
I'm not going to say what price, just in case he wants to make a little bit of money on them, because he should, because that's a good find on his part. So yeah, I don't know if Eric wants to just say he's still here. I'm not sure if he is. Oh, he's there he goes. Yeah. He's here. So there you are. So yeah, if you want, if you're in the market for one, reach out to Eric. I know he's going to be bringing them with him to VCF Midwest, so you can probably save on
Eric a message.
Now Frank owns all of them.
No, I only want one. I only need one.
Yes, they're
Speaking of Amazon, supply and demand. Who wants one now?
Now they're on JCM-1 for $1,000 a camera.
That's right. We're offering a special limited time 6 easy monthly payments of $99.95.
Oh wow!
Yeah. But wait,
great. Plus postage.
If you order now, we'll throw in the George Foreman grill at extra cost. You pay shipping and handling.
We probably have some old Roncone rotisseries lying around in the warehouse as well.
You just said it
and forget it. That's right.
Eric says,
I need a Mr. Microphone.
Oh, yes.
Eric says he only needs to sell one for $1 million, and he's all set.
There you go. Absolutely.
There you have it.
So I think we need to get Trina the Ronco pocket fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ronco pocket something.
That's
Ron, have you ever been in an infomercial?
An infomercial?
Yeah,
no,
like
I have
to sell
not.
something?
No.
I want to see you. Been in an infomercial.
You have?
I was in the audience though.
Okay, you're not one of the guys struggling. They always make the most like crazy. It's like I can't get this Tupperware lid off, and then they fall down.
A Ronco pocket pool.
Yes, the Ronco pocket pool. Yes.
And if you order the Ronco pocket pool now, it comes with a 55-gallon drum of KY jelly.
Oh wow!
And the shorts
jelly,
and the basketball shorts from White Man Can't Jump.
Oh,
correct.
That's right.
Yep. It's autographed by the entire.
And a ShamWow.
And a ShamWow.
I bought a ShamWow. It was not very good.
No, we had
some OxyClean for your shorts.
We had some off-brand ShamWows showed up at like surplus here, and they were disappointing. So we're not buying ShamWow. The Scrub Daddy though, is that a thing? Does that work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they have the Scrub Mama too, I believe. Ron did. Speaking of, Ron did a short.
I did.
That
I did too, as a matter of fact.
Yes, I saw that.
Oh, speaking of which, Ron, you had some success this week with your shorts. I saw.
I wore them. I was able to go out in public. No one looked at me strange.
Nobody noticed.
Nice.
Yeah,
well, I personally salute your shorts, Ron.
Nice. Yes. I'll let Donkey Lips know. Is that the kid's name? The kid? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Good. Great.
But yeah, no, it looks like you did pretty good on your on that one short.
I did okay. It's all you got to do is like talk about gaming, PC gaming, and people get really excited.
Yeah, perfect.
One way or the other, and then don't know how to interpret when you like leave them like weird comments or something like that. It's like somebody left something there. It's like because it's I guess modern displays, gaming monitors. You can turn on a little reticle on your monitor for games that just make you use iron sights, to game. And so I was just like, hey, what's the point of that? Because it was like every one of the monitors there on display at Amazon showroom, their retail showrooms, also known as Best Buy.
Hey, Chris.
I basically was just kind of like, oh, why would you leave these on? It's just going to get burned into the monitor. It's not going to be, I can't imagine like who would even use it. And people came out of the woodwork that they were just like, oh yeah, absolutely. I use it all the time. It's pretty great. And I'm just like, all right. And then somebody was like,
is it cheating?
No, it's built into your monitor. That's what people say. So it's like,
of course.
Okay. But it's like, somebody was like, you can turn it off, dummy.
It's frowned upon using it in competition, however.
Right.
So they were like, you can turn it off, dummy. And I'm like, well, hold on. I tried turning it off, but it still keeps trying to attack my siblings. Oh, no, wait. That's Goosebumps.
And they were like, that reference is way too old for us.
They were like, wait a minute.
What's Goosebumps?
I know what a goosebump is.
Yeah.
Return of the Slappy. Oh, Slappy got me again. Damn it.
So does that mean that I can take the permanent marker off my screen?
You can.
Yes.
So that reminds me, we were talking earlier about TGIF. That also takes me back now to Nick at Night,
Oh,
Right.
no.
where they did "Are You Afraid of the Dark?"
But the more
Goosebumps.
Mhm.
Are You Afraid of
Roundhouse
the Dark
pretty
is
much-
way better in my mind.
Are you
What's
afraid
I
that?
love
of the dark?
I love Goosebumps. Don't get me wrong, but Are You Afraid of the Dark is in my mind
Yep.
far superior.
That's Canadian television for you.
It is. It's polarizing up here.
I like how when Sloopy looks down, the
The
camera is like, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna like zoom in on his pate, just like.
So
And
we
then
should
it
draw,
looks
you should
up
draw
and
a
it's like,
face on
no,
your
no,
head.
no, no, abort, and comes back.
The only thing I had for this evening, I had a couple of tech news items, but I'll just kind of gloss over them real quick. Most of the stuff is obviously AI these last couple of weeks because of the new laws that are trying to get pushed through. But one of the neat things, and I find it neat. I mean, obviously, you know, your mileage may vary, but the Vatican just announced that they're going to canonize one of the youngest people to ever be canonized, and one of the more recent people to be canonized, but specifically because of their background in technology. So we actually might have a proper patron saint now for computer science.
Now, I told you not to talk about this yet until I got the okay from my attorneys.
Sorry, I apologize. Yeah. But no, it's a very interesting story. If you find this at all interesting, feel free to. There's a CNN article on it that I'll link. But yeah, the current patron saint for technology is a monk from the 1500s who obviously was just good at math, because obviously computers didn't exist.
He's also really good at Pac-Man.
Yeah. But the current kid, yeah, he died in 2006. He had suffered a terrible disease, leukemia, and but was very much into video games, specifically Halo, which I think is hilarious. So, like, patron saint played Halo. Like, it just seems so, like, you know, most of the patron saints were in actual wars. You know, they were actually like despots. This kid played Halo. It's like, this is great. I love it. I'm very excited. So he's going to be canonized hopefully sometime in the summer. But yeah, no, I thought it was kind of neat. It's like a modern saint. Anyway,
Yeah,
again, if
that's
you're not
pretty
interested
cool.
in that kind of stuff, I get it. But
I thought they were gonna do the guy from Warcraft from the South Park episode. You know,
Oh,
just, like leaned over.
yeah, the guy who's got like the wrist is
Yes,
in a...
yes.
Actually, if
guy.
I remember correctly, I remember watching Comic-Con. Somebody went to Comic-Con dressed as him in in a motorized wheelchair.
Yep.
Dressed like him.
Well, they also had him at one of the BlizzCons. Like they had, like it was actually the meme was based off of like somebody, you know,
Right.
at one of the BlizzCons as well.
Yeah. Anyway, so does anybody have anything else before we sign off? We're just over an hour here now.
That's right. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Anything, Ron? Do you want to talk about anything?
I
Push
don't
the
know.
fish. It's about the turn.
We'll do a PSA, Ron. Maybe we'll take this time to do a PSA.
Sure.
If you guys are collectors of anything,
Oh, there's
vintage
Trina.
retro,
she wakes up at the end of the
finally
show.
wakes
Look
up,
at how that
as we're
works,
leaving.
huh?
Yeah. If you collect
kidding.
anything retro and you want some proper shelving for it, we do not recommend plastic shelving that you buy at Walmart.
Oh no.
You know, the stuff that you put together,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
I
Just
wasn't sure where
because-
you were going with this, but yeah.
I knew exactly where he was going with
Now,
this.
but now I know. Yeah, now I remember. It's been a long
don't-
week.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just giving some good advice about not using plastic.
It is.
I
is
know,
good
Trina. I was
advice.
teasing you.
If you
2x4.
do use plastic shelves, don't put them in a shed
Yes.
where it gets hot.
Hot.
Right.
And they
Mhm.
possibly could melt. And if you are going to use them, attach
Wait.
them to the wall.
Does heat
Use wall
actually?
anchors, yes,
I thought that was an urban legend. Heat actually bends plastic. Is that a thing?
it's true.
Well,
Yeah.
Wow.
Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, but summer heat does melt plastic shelving.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's why I go by 2x3 and plywood construction.
Exactly. Anyway, we digress.
Also on a more on point topic, as Curtis was saying in the chat, Curtis and Canadian Retro Things, Ken Waters, did an interview with Robert Kilgus.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is a very early programmer for the Tandy color computer, which, although yes, it's very color computer centric, but it also gives you an idea of the whole mindset back in like the late 70s, early 80s in programming and how they had to go about programming machines and getting software ready and in production. And I'd highly recommend watching it. It's a nice 4-part series. It's a great watch.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Do you want to share a link so that we can post that in the chat before we're finished?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank everybody for being here this evening.
Absolutely.
It was nice having some replacement blood, I guess is a good way to describe
That's true.
it.
The variety show.
Yeah, Trina was out at a hacker space.
So she
helping
claims.
people. Yeah.
Well,
I didn't realize.
also
now.
she claimed she was at a threesome, but well,
She just recently discovered phone freaking, so they're really into that right now.
Yeah. They called the Pope last night.
That's right. That's what I heard.
Funnily enough. Yeah. So thanks, guys. I know you have your choice in Friday evening entertainment. We're going to head over to the Discord after hours chat where things get a little bit more risky and less YouTube friendly. Gutbomb has a wardrobe change apparently that he needs to get into.
That's right.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Trina.
I think we all know what we're talking about. But I'd like to thank
Thank
Ron
you for
from
everybody
Ron's
joining
Computer
us. Yes.
Museums, Gutbomb of Gutbomb fame, and Sloopy Malibu of Sloopy Malibu infamy. And of course, I am Ryan of Everything's Broken Garage, and Frank of Fredo the Jedi to my right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, guys, have a fantastic evening.
You too.
And do what I say. What's a good saying to end? Ron, say something inspirational.
I would say just remember, as always, I'm not always good at this, but at least I try. Make investments in kindness in the coming week. Do your best. Remember, everybody's kind of going through something, and just try to be nice.
Couldn't have said it better. Thanks, guys. Good night.